Previously on Oh, the Audacity.
What's up, guys? Hello.
Hey.
Welcome back to
Welcome back.
The Audacity. We are really, really excited to have you guys here again. Thank you for joining us again on our Thursday nights. Again, if you have not subscribed, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button and follow us on Instagram at O_the Audacity. So, we are keeping this relationship thing going, and y'all was really feeling us last week with A and Stephanie. So we brought them back again for yet another episode, and we're gonna get right into it. So Tay, let them know what we're talking about today, and y'all get in them comments tonight. Get in the comments, please.
This week we are talking about, and this is a juicy little topic too. We watched the video. We got a lot of our own opinions on this, but this week we are going to dive into this statement and see how true it is. Most men do not want a good woman. How true is this statement? We're not only going to talk about most men not wanting a good woman, but we're also going to talk about what is the composition of a good woman, and do most women want a good man? And what is the composition of a good man? But before we get into the topic, I'm going to introduce our guest again because you guys liked them so much the last time they were on here. We brought them back. We have Arrien. He is joining us tonight. And we also have Stephanie. She is back as well. So most men do not want a good woman. How true is this statement? Like, do you really believe in your heart of hearts that men are out here looking for like the doctress evil of the women? Like, they don't want a good woman. What constitutes a good woman?
I think the men that are looking for a woman are looking for good women. A lot of men aren't really looking for a woman. They're just looking to have, friends, fun, things of that nature, which is okay too, as long as you're honest about that. But I think the men that are looking for a woman are looking for a good woman, not only a good woman, but a woman that's yoked with him. A woman that can understand him, that can teach him how to understand her. Somebody that can give as well as take. You know what I mean? So.
You sound like Music Soul Child over there. Teach me how to love.
Yeah, you gotta be. You have to be willing. I think as men and women, or just as adults, as responsible, caring adults, you should be willing to teach your partner as much about life as you can possibly give them, and you are a big part of their life. So you should be teaching them to love you every day.
I can kind of agree with what you're saying, but in context for this particular subject matter, like, while the man that did the short, what he was basically saying is that most men, and he specifically said most black men, and this is a black man that did it, he said most black men do not want a good woman, that if given the choice to choose between the women they complain about, the modern woman, the kind of ratchet woman, got a lot of bodies, has, is using, selfish, those narcissistic traits we talked about the last time. If given a choice between that type of woman and a good woman, kind of wholesome, even though she's cute, she looks good, but she's like really healthy and not toxic, that a lot of them will choose the women they complain about over the good women. And I don't think it's for just a night or for just recreation. I used to feel that way too, like exactly what you said. And I know you're coming from the male experience, but I recently kind of started to see what this man was saying and think to myself, do they like really want a good woman? And, you kind of got to be in a certain place. If you're used to dealing with a toxic type chick, like if that's your normal, are you defaulting to that maybe without realizing it and kind of selecting those type of women?
Defaulting is a great word.
I think that men, we will fall into that trap you just spoke of. But I think just like a lot of women see potential in a man, we see this woman we see us getting a type of love out of this woman that she hasn't yet displayed. We feel like we can pull this out of her, and she's going to do us differently than she's done the rest of the crop out here, whatever you want to call it. So I think, yeah, that's like men are, we fail there too. You know what I mean? Dealing with a person on what we think they can be, and I think that the best way to be with a person is to just, if you can't love what they are today, then you probably, you shouldn't be looking to anything else.
But I mean, not to sound like a little bootleg therapist, but do you think some of that maybe comes from a place of unhealed trauma? Like if maybe they didn't get that growing up, like if they were constantly having to feel like they had to validate themselves to say like their mom, like maybe it's a mother wound or something, that maybe they keep reenacting this with other women in their lives, like trying to change her or win her love in a sense.
I think that it could. I think it could be that. I think it could be. I'm not going to rule that out, but I think it's more of like of a habit thing. I think this is just a norm. This is how people are right now. It's not like I don't want to blame that on mommy and daddy. I feel like maybe your peers more are influenced toward that type of mentality more than anything.
Hey, you said something and you were like, I'm trying to remember exactly what you said, that you feel like you can guide this woman. I'm not sure if I'm using the exact words, but guide this woman to give you something that you think that she's capable of. And what if the woman does, conform to your dream, your ideal of what you're presenting and what you think she's capable of? What if she does all this and then the man still turns around and, projects infidelity and then goes out and cheats on her with somebody who is the opposite of all of these things that he's saying that he wants?
Like, it's always that. It's always
that affects a woman? Like, I'm out here, I'm using myself as an example, but not as a real example. I'm just going to say me. I'm out here, I'm being the best woman I could be. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I feel like I'm taking care of home. I feel like my man should be happy, but then he still goes out and gets with this other woman who is not doing anything for him besides just, maybe pleasuring him sexually or just being a trophy piece of something that he feels like he needs to have on his arm. I feel like that has a lot to do with the way that women move out here, because like, well, if I was being a good girl and I was doing all this and I was being a good woman and I still got the end result of not being happy in this relationship, what is the point of doing all of that? I might as well just go out here and be a thought like the rest of these hoes.
First of all, this is happening to men just as much as it's happening to women. I don't want y'all to think that, all the women out here just being done dirty. They out here doing motherfuckers dirty too. You know what I'm saying? Like this shit is a whole cycle right here. So it ain't just that. And I'll be the first one to tell you, like, if you can't either be single or faithful, you're remedial. Like something wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? Like we are at this point in life where people we should be able to tell ourselves the truth of what we can and cannot do. And if you can't be faithful, then just be single. Don't even expect these things from her or him if you can't be faithful yourself.
I agree with that, but I think it's unfortunately a lot of remedial people out here. Like, I think it's a lot of people out here that has become their normal. Maybe they got done dirty so much, or they dealt with, that type of person so much in their past that's what they've come to think is okay. Like a lot of people have normalized cheating, side chicks, men using women, women using men. Like for a lot of people, that's where they've set their bar. Like when they say the bar is set in hell, like literally some people's bar is so low that's how they move in relationships, because that's what they're used to. And there are a few like kind of best case scenario stories where somebody did get the toxicity loved out of them, but that, you know, like maybe they just never experienced a love or relationship connection to that level, and it kind of brought the best out of them and they got better. But that is definitely the exception and not the rule. And I think a lot of people maybe set themselves up waiting for that to happen.
I know personally, I see it happening all the time. You guys have heard me say this on this podcast before. I've seen, witnessed men. They have these high expectations. They want to tell you what they want, da, 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 da. And then when they go cheat, they're cheating with the total opposite. Oh, I don't like a girl that got weave in her hair. I want my girl natural. You know, I don't want her to have this and that. But then they with the girl with the BBL, the weave down to her ass. Like,
God, they made
and
it looking like a lumberjack.
It is fucking mind-blowing, because you're sitting there,
I done
you're
stopped
like,
getting my perm to satisfy you. Got me out here looking like Kizzy, and you out here messing with a bad bitch. Like, no, because I can be a bad bitch too. You said you ain't like all of that.
Cheat with all that.
They want you to be natural in the house, and then they go out with the total opposite. And then it's like, what the F, dog? Like, are you kidding me? It's mind-blowing. And men do it. Black men do this shit all the time, and it needs to stop.
Let me fill
the side chick always be the fantasy like type chick. You know what I'm saying? It's always that.
No, let me fill you in on something with men. I don't give a shit. Like, we don't give a shit with you. Like, men aren't that picky. You know, like, we may have a certain type that we like, but we'll accept just about anything. You know what I mean? Like, we may have a preference, but we ain't turning down nothing but our collar. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how a man thinks. Like, most men cannot tell you how many women that he slept with. But a woman probably got a damn diary with every social security number that he slept with. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all diaries are thicker than others, but we ain't gonna prove it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, like, men are not, we may have a preference, but we're not picky. You know what I'm saying? Anytime a man has a side woman, if he has a relationship, I can say anytime, but a lot of times when a man is in a relationship and he has a side woman, he's getting, I don't want to act like this is a reason why men cheat, but I'm just giving y'all a reason, because this ain't the reason why.
It's selfishness.
This is a reason. This is not the reason. He's cheating because he's getting either some type of extra satisfaction or some type less dissatisfaction from this woman that he's getting from
him. It has anything to do with the woman, though. Like, there's men that, you know, say they love the woman, they're attached to her, they're not letting her go. They would be sick to their stomach if she was doing the things that he was doing, but it's something in him that he feels a need to keep conquering new women, like, regardless of how his woman is acting. She could be acting perfect, she could be acting terrible. Bottom line is he's there, and he's there for a reason. He's not going anywhere, but he want to be able to do, like, and this goes for cheaters. Now, I'm a personal believer. I don't believe all men are cheaters, but I think that it is a thing that men do if they have that void there. And I don't think there's anything a woman can do to fill that void if that man really has that.
There's only one perfect woman.
They mama.
Y'all ever watch X-Men?
They goddamn mama.
No. Anybody ever watch X-Men? Well, two perfect women. Yeah, it's mama. It's mama. Y'all ever watch X-Men?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the blue girl that can turn into anybody? Mm-hmm. Perfect woman right there. Okay? And until you can be her blue ass, you ain't perfect. All right? You ain't perfect. Because
you're hearing it here first. Unless you can shape shift into all these bad bitches, you are not perfect.
You are not, and I mean that in the visual sense. Men are very visual. Mm-hmm. And we are going, I mean, but no, we got to stop that too. I come on here and talk to y'all, and I know that y'all want me to give the male perspective, but in this day and age, it ain't nothing that a man does that women don't do. Okay,
That's
it's nothing
true.
that a woman does that a man don't do. So all this men do this and women do that. As long as we keep that mentality, we gonna always be stuck where we at. Okay, so that's
I think now women we're flexing more because
of social media, because we see it. That's why y'all been doing this shit since the beginning of the time. Y'all just kept it more discreet and quiet. But y'all been doing it. This ain't nothing new. It's just exposed now
I
because
don't
it's
think women's
televised.
nature from the beginning of the time was to cheat. But I think women
Who ate the
became more
apple? Who bit
independent
the apple?
and we're more modern now. And it's like, well, you know, if you're gonna be dogging me out, I mean, nobody wants to be dogged out anymore. Men back in the day, your grandparents' age, a woman stayed with their black ass until it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Now women are not staying. Women are not putting
So
up.
stop saying you want a traditional man. Then. Stop saying that
I
because
don't think
that's a
nobody said they want a
traditional man.
traditional man. We are talking about good versus bad. We ain't talking about traditional versus non-traditional.
I
I'm
mean,
just
I
listening
like
to
a
what she's
traditional
saying.
man, but I don't want to be cheated on. Does
Well,
traditional man mean
traditionally, grandmama got cheated on.
That's not everybody's granddaddy. Everybody granddaddy
I
was
said
so old.
traditionally. I said traditionally.
But I mean, I think it depends though. I mean, cheating certainly did not get created this year. You
Yeah,
know what
but
I mean? Of course,
women
but
did not. Women stayed in their relationships back in the day, right? Black now, you picking up your black ass bags and you walking out the goddamn door and you saying bye.
Go head on with that hoe you was sleeping with the other night. Cause you
With a
can't.
Women didn't do
whole,
that back in the day.
we're not held
with a
hostage
whole
anymore.
modern woman's attitude, you gonna pick all your shit up and you gonna go. But when you get back into this dating, you gonna be looking for a traditional man,
But we're just not
knowing that you gonna give him a modern attitude.
What is that? What's a modern? Whoa, A. What is a
saying that
modern
we want
attitude?
him to do
You
traditional
just said
things,
what the
but we
modern
not going for
attitude
them.
is. As soon as you don't like what he's doing, whether if it's right or wrong, you going. That's a modern attitude. You just said grandmama stayed, right?
I'm saying being cheated on. No woman,
I'm telling grandma
no
stayed to the
woman wants to
cheating.
be.
She
Nobody
stayed to
wants to
the
be cheated
cheating. We're
on.
talking about the same thing. We ain't gonna act like we ain't talking about the same thing. We talk about cheating. Grandmama stayed through the cheating. He was fucking her sister. He was fucking her cousins.
But
He was
honey,
fucking the
some
next door
people's
neighbor.
grandmama stayed through beating as well. That doesn't mean
Grandmama
like
stayed to
you're
get her
being held
ass whooped.
hostage in a relationship.
But nigga
You
yell
know,
at
you
you wrong,
shouldn't
you
stay.
out of here.
But
If
I mean,
I
that's
You
the
get
thing.
damn
Like,
right.
yell at you wrong, you out of here.
You damn right. Cause you ain't gonna
Okay.
be yelling
Well,
at
the
And
me.
I'm not
traditional
saying that
man
you're
too.
wrong.
A
I'm
man
not
is
saying
not
that
going to
you're
stay with a
wrong.
woman that's cheating on him.
I'm not saying that you're wrong. What I'm saying is traditionally, that's not what happened. Modern women, that's what happened. And a modern man is going to do some of these things that you're speaking of. If you want a traditional man, you got to be a traditional woman. You got to give me what you want.
but do you think that all traditional men are abusive? Like, does
No,
abusive have to be a
no,
symptom?
no, no.
Because cheating
I,
is a form of abuse. The same way that somebody keep cheating on you, that's a form of abuse. The
it
same way
is.
somebody's putting
It's
their hands on
emotional
It
abuse.
is. It
like
is.
it's you know what I mean. Like I don't want to equate traditional man with abusive. You know, it happened, yes, and women were in a different position where a man, if he was abusive, could hold her hostage in a relationship where she can't go nowhere even though she's miserable and she spends 70 years with this dude. But now, like I mean, certainly you can't expect people to deal with like slavery conditions inside of a marriage, but at the same time, like I don't think every traditional man was like that. Like traditional to me means taking care of his household, putting family first, you know, being that protector, provider, all that great stuff. You know what I mean? That's what I think.
And for the men that you say weren't abusive, weren't cheaters, and all that, hopefully he had a wife at home that respect that and she reciprocate that in ways that she can. But
Yes.
but at the end of the day, back then there was a whole bunch of that going on, and those men that weren't cheaters and abusers and all that shit, it probably was because he had a loving, caring woman at home
I'm
that just
sure.
understood him somehow.
But
That
it's all the roles of different women weren't in the position to pack their bags and leave. because they were the caregivers. They were taking care of the kids, the children. You know, they didn't have good jobs. You know, they might have been a maid, or you know, they didn't have the financial needs. The men were the providers.
And all that goes back to, how can you want a traditional man when you are a modern woman? You ain't at home cooking and cleaning. You gotta go to work.
I cook and clean.
Y'all be wanting us to cook and clean too, but I want to hear what Jackie got to say, because Jackie is nodding her head and she is just taking it all in, and I don't hear my sis talking. I want to hear what Jackie.
I want to hear Jackie too. She always got the good stuff to say. Go ahead, Jackie.
No, I just was trying to get the feel of. I was still back to what Shantae was asking in reference to being the good woman, doing everything that she felt her man wanted her to do. Whether it's cooking, cleaning, you know, making him feel like a man, and then he still goes out to cheat. Like, why is that? And to that, I feel as though it has nothing to do with the woman. It's that man, like A was saying. It's the man. It's something in his lifetime that he's missing out on, or something that he feels that he has to accomplish in order to be a man in his mind. So my thing was to answer that question, but I kind of heard y'all get to it, but in a different way. I feel as though a lot of women get cheated on like that, in that sense, because they don't exercise their independence and leave. If you sit there and let that man continuously abuse you psychologically, mentally, you know, emotionally, and there's no repercussions, he's going to continue that lifestyle. I feel as though take your goodness, leave that situation, and go somewhere else and find that good man out there. You know, I know we talk about men, but I'm with Stephanie. I feel as though there are men out there that won't cheat. They don't have to. They don't want to. You know, so you find that good man, you eliminate that whole feeling of abuse and get you someone who's going to appreciate you. But in that, you have to be that type of woman that is okay spending time by herself, getting to know herself, getting to know what it is that she wants and she deserves. Then you're going to find that man and accept that man to love you the way you need to be loved, and he will respect that.
Jackie.
So do you think that a traditional modern woman shouldn't be looking for a traditional man?
A traditional modern woman?
A modern woman. A said modern women are looking for a traditional man. Do you think that's backwards?
I think that's two different sides. If I'm a modern woman, I can't fulfill that traditional man's needs because he's traditional. So it's two separate. If I'm a modern woman, I need to be looking for a modern man. If I'm a traditional woman, I need to be looking for a traditional man, or who has the traditional male traits. Because if I want to be with a traditional man, I have to be okay with maybe not being the breadwinner. I have to be okay with letting him lead. I have to be okay with, you know, dampering down and letting my man literally lead the way.
But don't you think most people are a hybrid nowadays? Like nowadays, aren't most people like a hybrid?
Probably.
Because I know I have some needs of mine, or some, like when I think about what I'm offering and what I'm expecting, some ways I'm traditional, some ways I'm modern. You know what I mean? Like, I think most of us are a hybrid.
So what do you guys think in the chat? Let us know what you guys think in the chat. Are y'all traditional, hybrid, modern? Like, what do you guys think? Let us know. So you had your hand up, A. What you was going to say?
No, my hand was up in the agreement that I'm one of the men that I don't want to cheat. Like, I don't even want to cheat. Like, if I'm going to be in a relationship, I'm in it. Like, we get, like, we might as well not, there's no, like, we might as well, if I call you my girlfriend, we are as good as married. Like, it ain't, because ain't nothing going to change on the wedding day. My commitment is what I got for you. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm doing that, like the wedding and all that stuff, that's just extra.
And that's awesome. You know what I'm saying? But I like that. And I would want that for, you know, me, you know, because I do think a lot of men do cheat. But back to what we were saying is, you know, that video clip, we always see this, you know, and I have to go back to like pastors, people in the, you know, them pastors in the church. They're always cheating with the thoughts. In the always.
Because that's just
That's easy access to gratification. That's just doing it because it's easy to do. A lot of females are okay being the side chick. That's the role they want. That's the role they play, and they play it well. So you have to kind of look at the females that are knowingly the side chick that is okay with it. It's hard, like I said, men.
Why the hell would you be okay with being a side chick?
Why
You said
wouldn't
what?
you be?
Just
If
are.
you're gonna be
Some
honest
women
with
are.
yourself, if you're gonna be honest, listen to me. That's
Yeah.
the problem. You know how many women out here are side chicks and just don't want to admit it? I'd rather you just be honest with yourself about real life and accept what it is, rather than be telling yourself that this is your man and that's your man.
Or the side chick waiting until she finally gets chose. Some women will wait 20 years till they get chose.
Some women get wrapped up in
And
that
listen to me,
competition.
there's nothing wrong with her waiting.
Telling you.
I'm friends with a lot of women, and I hear these stories, and I tell them just like this: as long as you honest about what it is, I don't give a fuck what it is. It can be whatever. As long as you honest about that. If he got other chicks and you know that, but you still faithful to him, just be honest about them other chicks.
Thank you.
That's it. That's
But how many times have y'all heard this
exist.
scenario? But how many times y'all heard the scenario when the man is getting ready to cheat on his wife? It's not like he's like, yo, you know what? I love her. She just doesn't, hit all my buttons. And that's why you're here, because you let me do X, Y, and Z to you. And that's why I'm here. No, it's always, she is the devil. She is Kathy Bates from Misery. Got this man held against his will. He's suffering. He want to leave. He
like
can't. And she's everything that he's ever dreamed of. And if things were different. And if we didn't have the kids. And da 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 da.
Charles just did this to Lucille on BMF. I don't love her. I love you.
Yeah,
you don't love me, Charles.
They be getting lied to, and they fools for believing it. But a lot of them, their self-esteem will allow them to believe that. They shouldn't. They a fool for it. But a lot of them, their self-esteem will be like, he don't really. Why do you think so many of them be so bold with the main chick when they come at her and they be like, hey, yo, man, that's why your man's over here, because you're not taking care of this and you're not taking care of that.
Like, that woman could be doing.
I definitely think girls that play the side chick have self-esteem issues. Like, I definitely think that is a self-esteem. It's something there.
But that's okay. And some men are going to prey on that woman. They're going to prey on that woman. They're going to prey on that woman that's hearing that negativity, and she's feeding off of it, thinking that she's going to get a spot that don't even exist, because he's telling you what he's telling you. I gonna say 9 times out of 10, but in my mind, that man is telling that woman what he's telling her, because she gonna go for it. This one, I know she gonna go for it, so I'm gonna talk that shit to her.
So
you know what I'm saying? But the whole time,
back to the point that we started with, though. Do men really in real life even want a good woman, or do you just want these women that are going to bend over backwards and break whatever it is that they believe in for you? Because it seems like you're not even recognizing a good thing. You don't know what you got till it's gone, just like the song. Like, you're not even recognizing the good woman that you have. You're so busy out here trying to find something else. I don't want to say something new, because they don't usually replace that person that they're cheating on with the next person. So I don't want to say something new, but it's always that little hint of something else. Like, oh, what else could I be out here doing? What else is over there? How green is that grass? I know I got a good woman that's sitting here and, open to my every desire and taking care of my children and has my household running in order. She's well open-minded as far as business is concerned, as far as her education. Like, I know I got this woman that has all these check boxes, but what is it about those other women that don't have any of the check boxes?
Why y'all let us
accessibility? No accountability that needs to be taken. They're accessible. When I got the urge to want big booty Judy, she right there. I don't got to do nothing. Call her up. She's there. If I got the urge and I want to have Susie, the sexy secretary, she waiting willingly. She's waiting. It's accessible. It's right there. They don't have to do
think modern women, these women are too accessible to men?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
No, but
know
see, it's
women.
not just her. I mean, everybody's too accessible to everybody.
Yes.
So it's not.
Yes.
That's just a way of life. That's just a way of life.
But when
You know
you
what I
think
mean?
about accessibility though, A, and I want to ask A specifically this question, is in terms of like the whole, wanting a good woman or not. I want to ask you specifically, just based on what you've seen from your brethren, because I know you can only speak from your perspective, but when these men you see all up and down timelines, maybe it's just my algorithm, but all up and down my timeline, all up and down my feed on YouTube, is a lot of brothers complaining about a particular type of woman. And sometimes when I hear these complaints, it's not that they don't have a reason to be complaining, but I'm thinking to myself, what type of women are you dealing with that this is your normal? Like, you're making these generalizations about women doing some really dusty things like using men. And I get that it happens, but again, talk about, oh yeah, she's smashing all the homies and she's doing this and she's doing that. At some point, I'm looking at the man now like, well, is this who you're choosing? Because it's starting to feel like there's so many complaints about this particular type of low value woman that, I mean, would it be that many if she wasn't getting so much traffic? Because I feel like these low value women is getting a lot of
traffic.
a lot of
They
action.
get all the traffic. Yeah, like I mean, but that's just women alone.
Because
It's not
they're
one-
accessible, like Jackie
all
said.
four, all
They're
four of y'all
accessible, and they walking out that door at 11 o'clock at night, and we all
And they
know
okay
ain't
with
nothing
it.
open up at 11 o'clock at night, but them what?
Them
Hey.
legs.
Legs.
That's bullshit.
Legs.
So like,
What you say, Auntie? What you say, Auntie?
That's
Them
bullshit.
legs.
them legs, only thing open up at midnight.
Let me tell you something about, and I ain't gonna say no man. I'm gonna tell you something about people and cheating. It ain't no time, nor day, nor place needed to cheat.
That's true, because
I
I've been
will cheat.
cheated on.
You
It was
can- you
midday.
can
It was
cheat.
midday cheat time.
Midday in your next door
I go
neighbor
back
house.
and check that phone.
Okay?
They was cheating at 12 o'clock.
So,
What
anybody that tries to put
On lunch break.
You was cheating at 12
I feel like you
o'clock.
gotta be a
What was they doing, Cookie? They was day
Like,
hunching.
yeah,
They was
that
day
They was
hunching.
day hunching.
all that
Noon.
late
That
night.
noon booty.
That's
What's
bullshit.
that called?
That's
Afternoon delight.
bullshit. Yes. Where there's a
Early in
will,
the
there's a way.
morning.
You know what I'm saying? Where there's a will, there's a way.
So to wrap this up, ladies, so do you think women, we want a good man? Modern
I
women,
want a good man.
do we want
Explain to me what a good man is.
Somebody that treat me nice and don't have to I don't have to worry about them out there messing with the thoughts. And also somebody who takes care of their responsibilities. That I feel like to me constitutes a good man.
Someone you can depend on and rely on. You know what I mean? Somebody who's trustworthy. You can take him at his word. He's, treating you like you are his choice and not just another option. Like he's
Oh, I love that little
going to choose you.
phrase.
And he cares, like somebody that cares. You cannot buy care. Care is like the most valuable thing. So yeah, I think a lot of women, we all want a good man. I don't think a lot of women are ready for a good man. I think the idea of a good man can, scare some women for the same reason, like we were just saying about the men. You can get used to dealing with something else and think that you can change these other brothers into a good man because you're not healed on the inside. But I'll tell you what, loneliest place in the dating pool is the healed section, okay? Because it's not a lot of people. Once you healed and you really want that good person, that's when you be like, who, like, where they at?
Ooh, it's lonely over here. Where y'all at?
The
But you
healed
have to
section
have
is a little
patience.
dry.
You have to have patience. They always say good things come to
That's
those
it.
who wait, and it'll be so worth it. To me, a good man is a man who is consistent. That is like everything.
I
A
like
man who I can speak to, who can, if they don't agree with me, they can understand me, or try to figure out a way to understand me. A man who is a provider, and also a man that is a receiver, because sometimes men are so hard, and as a female you try to show them ways to be a little softer on certain topics, and because they have this thing about being a man and so hard and this and that, they can't receive it. And sometimes as a woman it makes you feel like you're not being heard or you're not being appreciated, And what you do, you shut down.
Mm-hmm.
You shut down. And so after that, communication barriers come down. I don't want you looking at me. Don't touch me. And then what do you have after that? A shell. So no.
Gotta be a good
Like
communicator.
Lucille told Charles, she was dressing. She said, "I'm getting dressed.
Yes.
Get out of here.
You're not
Get
allowed to
out."
see this homeboy Charles,
Yeah.
because you out here
I'm
with whole ass
listening to
mate.
y'all say all of this about what a man, a good man is. But let me ask you this, because like, can you deal with a good man, but he ain't your man? Like,
No.
I don't want to deal with nobody else.
He
Man.
not a good
I'm
man.
not
No,
dealing
not
with
somebody else, man.
nobody else.
Not somebody
He ain't
else,
my
man. Not somebody else's man. He ain't somebody else's man. He just ain't your man.
So why I'm
That
dealing with
nigga
somebody that ain't
else's
mine?
man, because if
Yeah,
we
why am I wasting my
minute.
time?
If he
Why
ain't
am I
my
wasting
man,
my
then
time on somebody that?
I know y'all taught this dating with a purpose stuff, right? But what is the purpose? What if the purpose is to just be friends?
That's not my purpose. That's your purpose. That's not my purpose.
Nobody I'm dating.
Yeah, but so wait a minute. You mean to tell me that every guy that you meet, every guy that you go on a date with, you're looking for something larger with this person?
No, I'm not.
If I'm gonna keep dedicating my time, I need to see that
Yes, if I'm still
potential.
spending my
Or if
time.
you're friends, you're going in the friend zone. Like, it's not to say that every guy you hang out with or are cool with has to be your husband. Certainly not. But I'm gonna know that, and then they're friend zone. Like, we're friends. But if I'm intentionally looking for something and I don't see that potential there, no, I'm not going to be making no wifely investments and playing myself up here thinking like, oh yeah, we're about to be X, Y, Z. No, we're not.
But
Get y'all, Stephanie, as soon as you put them in the friend zone, then they got a whole bunch of complaints about that too. Oh, because now I'm in the friend zone. You got your dog going to write you in the friend zone.
But
You put me in the
know
friend
what?
zone
Well,
for
a
damn
man
years.
says that
Now
that's
you in
just
the
a
friend zone
friendly
too. I'm tired.
Dante, that's coming from a man who is scared to commit.
Yeah.
That's what that is. That man does not
and
want
if they're
to commit.
scared to
I love
commit,
how y'all
meaning they
put
don't want to
scared in
be
there.
in a relationship.
He may not be
Listen,
scared.
what are
He
we
makes
even
it no
talking
better.
about? Then
How
I'm
you
moving
gonna call
on to
him
find
scared?
somebody who do want to be in a relationship, because
Absolutely.
you don't want to be in a relationship, so I'm not wasting no more time here. We could be friends, and I'm gonna go carry on and go find me a relationship, because that's what I want.
But the thing is, and I always say this, for me, I'm gonna deal with somebody that is putting the energy into me. Like, I'm gonna know if you really want me, because men are hunters, and if they want you, you're gonna know about it. If you want me, I'm gonna know about it. It's no second guessing. It's none of that. I ain't gotta think twice about it, because you're there. You're consistent, like Jackie said. When my phone is ringing.
I think that's a big problem. I bet
my bottom dollar.
Why? It's a fact.
I think a big problem in dating out here now.
You going after the one that you do want. I bet my bottom dollar on that. You done put me in the friend zone, but you out here applying pressure to the one that you really want.
Exactly.
Go apply
that
pressure to the one that you really want. Why you wasting my time?
You know how many men deal with y'all knowing damn well that he ain't got no shot and ever being your husband?
That's true.
He got no shot never being your husband.
But
he deal with
you. Put me in that category.
He has time.
I like to marry
he
him.
has an option to deal with.
But we have all, including you, Tay, we have all dealt with people knowing that this is going nowhere further than where it's at.
Yeah,
but I'm gonna keep dealing with this person. I'm gonna keep dealing with this person.
But it's up to you to waste time. Like, some people is not wasting time. You're not going to be wasting my time. My time.
That's what I'm talking about. I didn't talk about the man that's wasting. See, y'all can't wait to get on these niggas that's wasting your time. I'm talking about all the men that y'all just spoke about. All these nice attributes, and this is what y'all want. Can y'all deal with a man that's doing all this great stuff? He's a nice man. He takes you out. He dates you to death. You know what I mean? He calls you. He's good morning, good night, you. But he ain't your man.
But I think you're losing us.
If he's doing all that, he is going to be my man, or he is my man already.
No, he don't.
No, I'm not giving all this energy to somebody that's not my man.
No.
Why I'm not even answering it. Y'all know I'll look at this phone like this, like, we not about to do this.
No, hey, let me ask you a question. What do you mean by would you deal with the man? What does deal with the man mean? Would he be one of the men you're dating?
friends with benefits. Yes, you're dating this man.
No, I
That's
think
not dating. That's
I-
friends with benefits. That's
I-
plenty
yeah.
of
But
stuff.
that
Like
is
if you
so.
want,
Wait a minute. You don't date that person?
no, but if she wants
Not all
something,
the
like
time.
that's a recipe
Sometimes
for
it's
No,
just a
I'm
whole
talking
bunch of
about
being
in
a
instance
friend
that
with
you are
just the
dating.
added benefits. And ain't no dates involved.
Okay, I'm
That's
not talking
that's a
about that.
recipe.
That's your
no,
personal choice.
hey,
But
That's
I
a
think
personal choice.
that's
Go
a
ahead.
recipe for disaster if,
She on
like,
here
if that
talking
woman
crazy.
doesn't want anything and she is just looking for a good time, then okay, that's their grown business. But if she really wants to be loved, she really wants to form a partnership. And this man is showing her everything, including the gamming, because they friends with benefits. You said, like, if all of that is going on and he's not committing to her, that is a recipe for disaster. And at our big age, we supposed to know better. Like, people got to want the same thing. If he does not want a relationship,
you.
That's
okay.
not true. That's
He
not
don't
I
want
true.
think
Because
It
So
I
is.
are we
hey,
in
listen
are
to me.
we in
Let me
the
tell you
age where
something.
we're
So
giving
super
people
true.
ultimatums?
Let me
So
tell
is
you
it
something.
are we giving
I'm,
people
Don't need to be no
ultimatums?
I don't
ultimatum.
necessarily
listen
think
to
it
Don't
me.
has
need to
to
be
be an
no ultimatum.
ultimatum.
Listen. Will y'all
If I
listen?
gotta give you an ultimatum, it's
Listen to
I
this.
don't think it
like,
has
Listen
to
to
be
this.
an ultimatum, but we need to be absolutely clear on what it is that we're doing.
And that's what you got to
And
do.
once the clarity
That's
is
what you got.
made
Yeah.
clear, once the declaration is made clear, then either party can choose to do whatever it is that they want.
Exactly.
And if the woman
Exactly.
decides that, hey,
Yes.
you're not on the
Yes.
same page as I am because this is where I thought this was going, and she goes on about her business, that man
Leave her
can't feel no
alone.
type of way about that.
Exactly.
leave her
Exactly.
alone, Jackie.
All that
Exactly.
y'all
Leave
just
her
said is what I'm
alone.
saying. That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm getting at. All
Yeah.
that you just said.
No, you said,
Leave.
can a
If
woman
a
deal with a
man can,
man that's not her man? No, because eventually I'm going to want you to be my man. If you don't want to be my man, then what are we
so
doing
wait a
here?
minute.
What
You
are we
rather
doing?
go. Wait a minute. I ain't gonna say rather. I ain't gonna say rather. But do you understand the chance that you're taking going to deal with? And I ain't saying that you shouldn't be dealing with other people if he ain't your dude. You can go deal with whoever you want to deal with. But are you willing to take a chance on not dealing with a good man, a really good man? But he won't be your man, but he's a really good man. Just to go have somebody to
Yes.
yourself that's
I ain't
Give
saying
me
I'm
half-assed
a
in
little
this man.
replacing
taste.
it
Wait a
with
minute, you're not
a
letting me finish. You
do
didn't
no
let me
good
finish. You
nigga.
did not let me finish. You did not let me finish. Are you willing to go be with a person that's half of what this man
Lakina.
does? Like he's half of what this man does, and you're gonna run to him because he's willing to be faithful to you, but he don't date you and care for you and love on you like this other guy do.
Hey, you're losing us. And I think the reason why you're losing us is because you're what you're sounding like, and I could be wrong, you're sounding like a woman is supposed to give you and let you have a placeholder in her life.
Mhm.
I'm not talking. This ain't even like a woman thing. This is because men do it
Oh, and
too.
you're trying to say that a man and female should be able to give each other placeholders in their lives because in their mind that's a good person. So I'm gonna give you a placeholder.
Yeah, like
You
And
can
you can
good
be
always
a
people
come
good
are
back
hard to
person all
here.
find.
you want to be,
Yeah.
but you're not taking up this space in my life if you are not
Absolutely.
here
And
for a
that's
purpose.
when that's when the issue
This
comes in.
space
When
is for a purpose. And
yes,
if you don't fit inside of this purpose, then you get the out of this space.
yes. You have your time. I think your time, there comes a time when your time is going to expire. Okay.
And that's fine.
Okay, so if that's fine, then you have to be okay when she comes back or when the male comes back to the female and say, look, we've been doing this now for a year, 2 years, 6 months. I'm at the point in my life when I'm looking for a consistent companion, an exclusive companion, a monogamous companion that I can claim you as my man and you can claim me as your woman. If the man is not there or if the female's not there, your place has been evoked. Goodbye.
And
Leave
and
me
if you're
alone.
And it's
fine,
also what we talked about last week, that narcissism and
Yeah.
that gaslighting.
Everything
And that
that gotta be about
gaslighting.
them.
Yeah, like no, you're not that good of a man where you can just have this placeholder. You're not that good of a female where you could just have this placeholder.
Yeah,
No,
and you may
that's
be
not
a
what I'm
great
looking
man, but you are not the good man
For
for
me.
me.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
So yes,
You the good man for
women
that
and
girl
men
that you
should
holding
take that
on.
chance. They should take that chance to
so
go
all
Lay that
four
elsewhere
of
white
to
flag
y'all,
find
for.
so
wherever else
all
they're
four of
looking
y'all
for.
sitting here right now telling me that you only date with the purpose of.
No, we're not saying that.
Okay, all right.
Some
I just
men
wanted. Okay.
date because they want to explore different women and date different women. Some women date because they want to explore different men and date different men. But there will sometimes, most of the time, come a time where they're done with the pooling and dating. They're done with that. They're
And
ready.
that's cool. When you
settle
reach
down.
that, when you reach that pinnacle, and you're at that point where you like, listen, I'm at this line where I have you know, I met this guy and he seems to be good, and I think that he wants to be cool. I ain't got no problem with the person trying something, but I have been with people. I have had people stop dealing with me because I'm not their man, and it's like,
Yeah, because they're
Because
tired of
they
you
want
being
more.
that
Like if y'all
placeholder.
Yes,
not on the
and
same,
You're
it's
Nobody
taking
wants to
made
just be
clear.
stagnant in
You're
that.
you
taking
can't say
up
nobody
It's
someone's
made
because
clear that I'm
oh,
trying to be in a relationship.
Yeah.
Then if we're not
Leave
going to be in a
her.
relationship,
Hey, leave her alone. Leave her
yeah.
alone.
Sometimes y'all, because y'all don't realize that sometimes
you know why I don't
get
leave
in
her
a way-
alone? You know why I don't
Why?
leave her alone?
Why?
She's gonna be back. Because one thing, listen to me, one thing that every nigga is guaranteed to do, and that's fuck up. So when the nigga fuck up, she's gonna be back anyway.
And that is the problem that I have with
nope.
women who
She
are
may be back,
constantly
but your ass
in.
gonna be right in that friend zone where she left you at.
But that's the problem I have with women who are constantly messing with men that they got issues with. You keep saying you don't like when he do this, that. He keeps doing this, that. But you keep going right
But
back.
you're still there.
So that's a problem to me.
At that point in time, you're just being a glutton for punishment. But I mean,
Thank you.
hey, I see what you're saying. Like as far as okay, you know, he may be doing all this and that and be so great, but she has to stop dealing with you at that point because if
Yes,
she's
you're
catching
toxic.
feelings
Yeah, I hear
and
that.
you're
a lot.
It's
not,
the toxicity.
there's
It's the
no
toxicity,
point to
and
that.
women have toxic traits, and men have
Yes.
toxic traits, and it's what you are going to sit in and allow.
Yep.
But it's going to
What you
come a
Yes.
time when that toxic trait, and you see men
Yes.
saying she was a toxic ass chick, he was a toxic ass nigga, and it
Leave
comes a
them
point where you
alone.
have
Just
to
leave it
leave.
alone. Like if
You
y'all
have
Leave
want
them
to
alone.
change this, it's okay.
We
Like
have
you don't have
taken
to
the
leave
word
them
toxic.
Bye.
but
We have taken the word toxic and put it in the place of fucking single. Like if you single, you toxic.
no, there's
That's
a
not true.
no, that's not true.
No.
If you're
You can be
single, like you said, if there's a woman that wants to keep being with this person, and a man that wants to be with this girl, that girl, then just be single. That's what
Right.
you said. Just be
Gotta
single.
be
that doesn't mean you're
but that's
toxic.
not toxic. That's
That
not
just
toxic.
means you're not
being
in a
honest.
place to be that proper man,
But
respectful
a
man
lot
for
of
that
women
woman,
will
or
tell
vice
me,
versa.
a lot of women, and I'm talking about me now. They'll say that my caring and my niceness, like that's toxic.
Because
it's
you
not that
keep
it's toxic, it's that it's dangerous for her and it
You're
Because you don't
playing.
want a
toxic
commitment. You so
situation.
nice, but
you
you
have
don't want a
to go in.
So
commitment.
are you
So
saying
why
because
you
I
doing
don't
all
want
this
a
shit? You don't
commitment?
want to commit to me.
Wait a minute.
Leave
So are
me
you saying?
alone.
Are you telling me that because I don't want a commitment, I'm a bad guy?
No,
I'm
no,
telling
no,
you
no, no, no.
that
Can-
You're just
because
not
you
the
know-
guy. You're not the good guy for me.
right.
You're
Let me
not
tell
the
you
good guy
something.
for
It's
some of
not
these
You may
good
be the
women
good guy
that
for
want a
somebody else
husband.
who want
It's
to
not
play
that you're a
games.
bad guy,
But
but
if a
it's
person
you
do
don't
not
like
want to
her
play
enough.
games, then you are not the good guy for them.
Ladies,
They
You're
don't
ladies,
Mr.
ladies,
Right
You
now,
gotta
back me up
not
on
go
this.
wrong
ahead
time.
on with your Candyland
That's all I
stuff.
want to be is Mr.
Ladies,
Right
let me-
now.
But
Listen,
no.
cause
Let me ask this
Go
real
ahead.
quick. Ladies, back me up on this. Once you realize, like once it becomes blaringly clear that a guy just isn't that into you, that he just doesn't like you enough
Thank you.
to like once you like make that equation, doesn't something in you just kind of be like, all right, then like you can easily let it go once you realize.
Yep.
And that's what happens. Sometimes we realize, like, yo, I'm not his person. He doesn't see me in that way. He's fine. And that's where you see women talk about wasting time. But no, it doesn't make you a bad guy. But it does mean that she's conscious of the fact that she is not the one that got you like that. She's not your game changer. She's not that to you. So she'd rather you just leave her alone so that she can focus on trying to find a man who is going to have that type of reaction to her.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, would you agree that in our age, women, and I don't want to get too personal with your dating, but women that date are dating with a purpose because they want to be chosen. They want that title. They're ready to be chosen. Would you agree with that?
I think in my experience, and I'm gonna go right into my experience.
Okay.
I think that most women that I run into when I first meet them, it's like, you know, I'm an honest guy. I'm super honest. I'm honest to a fault. Like I'm gonna tell you that I'm not your man. I'm not gonna be your man. You know, and I think they are okay with that at first. And then they be like, damn, this nigga really like treats me nice. Like he dates me. Like he, you know what I mean, he talks to me on the phone. We Like, you know what I mean? We get into the intimate, deep conversations and all that, but that don't move me in any way to make me want to be with you.
But women and men are different that way. That's the whole thing. With men, y'all seem to be able to decide very quickly what y'all like a woman for. Like if she's like, oh man, that's her. That could be wifey. Like if you're that into a woman, you send to know kind of quick. If she's like, oh yeah, she's cool, we can kick it. I probably smash. I probably whatever. You know what level she's on. With women, we can kind of have our mind changed a little bit. Like if he's cool enough for us to deal with and spend time with. Well, let me finish. If he's cool enough, if he has enough of our interest initially, Jackie, I'm not talking about the ones that it's like we know we don't have no real interest in. But I'm talking about if you have a general interest in this guy, you don't know what he's going to be. He could be it. He could not be it. But you can start to really find yourself really liking and becoming attached to that man. And again, I'm not talking about the men that it's like, I mean, I'm not really into him. I'm just passing time. But if you're really being intentional out here and you're viewing him as an option, him being consistent and showing you these things that can make, and you already attracted to him, y'all already have that chemistry, that can start to make you attached to somebody. And if you know he's not that into you, there's no point.
Unfortunately, men like A, there's women like A. They're bullshitters. Okay.
But you can't call it bullshit when they up front. You can't call it bullshit.
And but see, let me tell you something. That right there is some shit that a bullshitter would say. Like, look, I told you what it was from the beginning.
But how is that bullshit?
Be mad at me.
No, you can't. I can't tell you that there's no motor in this car, and you buy the car anyway, and ask me why it won't start.
Hey, when I tell you, I feel you. Like on some real shit, I feel you.
Listen, my honesty is not
just because
my honesty is not enough to make me a
just
good
because
man.
You're honest doesn't mean you're not gaslighting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If my honesty does not make me a good man, then I'll never be a good man.
Let me tell you something.
But the thing is, hey, you're trying to protect your emotion because you've been hurt. Okay?
I'm trying to protect.
Let's break this shit all the way down. Let's break it down and dissect it.
Whoa.
Because you're guarding your heart and you don't want to be attached. That has to be the reason that you don't want to commit to a woman.
Listen to this. First things first, I've been hurt. That's for motherfucking sure. Second thing is this. I've been doing this way before I was hurt.
That's what I'm trying to say.
This ain't got nothing to do with being hurt.
Let me
Because
ask
I was
you
doing
this.
this before I got hurt.
I feel you. I agree 100%. I hear what you're saying. I think the same way. I do. I think the same way.
So you're okay with being a side nigga then? You okay with being a side nigga?
Yes.
You're okay with being you thrive in side nigga-ism.
Yes.
I am Plan T. Fuck
Yes.
Plan B. Bitch, I need to be down the road. Bitch, I like to be all the way down the road.
Audacity.
Yes.
We are here to be audacity.
But he's honest.
Yo, I tell her, call me when the nigga that you call don't answer,
pick up.
Then call me.
Absolutely.
Woo!
A is a certified placeholder. He's okay with being that placeholder. He's fine with it.
You know why? You know why I'm okay with it? Because I'm better than your boyfriend.
Well, there we have it, guys. There we have it. Ain't shit else to say. We have wrapped this up. The audacity of it all. And if you want more, come back next week, next Thursday. And we're gonna keep talking about this because we're getting deeper and deeper every week. Get in those chats. Let us know what y'all think. Y'all already know Adrian and Stephanie. Thank you guys so much for coming. And we went deep down in that bag tonight. But again, hit that subscribe button. And guys, thank you for tuning in. And tell a friend to come on in next week and get in these comments and chats. And we about to wrap this up, y'all.
The audacity.
Because sometimes you wonder where they get the audacity. Make sure you like and subscribe on our YouTube page, and you gotta follow us on the gram. O_the.audacity.